Hi everyone, today I'm gonna be showing you how to play 3 main solos from Beastly by Vulfpeck. The good thing about these solos is that they go from the easiest to the hardest, so if you cannot play the last solo, it's fine. Just practice the first solo and after some time you'll be able to play the subsequent solos. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, this is the first solo, and we're gonna start with the small lick. First of all, you gotta slide on the G string from the 10 to the 12. Right, it's a short slide, so you're gonna mute the string here with your other finger. I prefer to do it with this one. If I pick with this finger, I mute with the same finger. And then you're gonna do what's called a wide vibrato on the 10th and the 9th fret of the G string. It goes like this. So if you haven't done this ever, you'll have to practice it. It's a little bit unnatural at first. Like usually guitar players do something like this, right? So it's a little bit easier, but for bass players it just sounds better when you do it across the frets. Alright, so this is the kind of speed you need to achieve. And then you finish on the 12th fret, so basically on the D. The next phrase sounds like this. So basically, right after you finish on this D, you start playing dead notes, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then I move to the B octave. It's the 2nd fret of the A string and the 4th fret on the G string. So what you do is you play, so you add like a dead note in between. Again, this is completely up to you. If you cannot add them in between the notes, it's too difficult, it's fine. Just play the octaves, but if you can add them, just add them. It just sounds better. So you move 1 fret, right? You play the C octave, 3rd fret on the A string, 5th fret on the G string. You move 1 fret again, right? And then you make a slide to D. The next phrase is, so basically you play on the 5th fret of the G string, which is the 7th of D minor. So you play 2 dead strings here on the D string. So, and then you play this. You play the 3rd fret on the D string, 5th fret, and then you make a slide. So the thing about the slide is that it doesn't really matter like where you slide. You can slide 1 fret to flat 5th of the D minor, or you can make like a full slide to the 7th fret, right? So it doesn't matter. So you repeat the same phrase 2 times and then backslide from the 5th fret to the 3rd fret of the D string. I'm sorry, from the 7th fret to the 5th fret of the D string. Play the 3rd fret on the D string and then play C note, so 3rd fret on the A string, and then slide it to the D and play octave. What I play here is I play the 5th fret of the G string 2 times. Then I play the dead string on the D string and a dead string on the A string. So basically you just roll your fingers. Okay? Like that. The idea here is basically this kind of shape. But Joe plays dead strings, so we're gonna play dead strings. Then you play, okay? So 5th fret again, then the dead string. Oh, you can play the 7th fret even if you wanted to, but I played the dead string. Then you do a wide vibrato again on the 5th and 4th frets of the G string, like this. Okay, the whole phrase sounds like this. And the next phrase sounds like this. You do a hammer on from the 10th fret of the G string to the 12th fret of the G string. Then you do the same one but with a slide. And then stop at the end. So mute your string at the end, like this. I also add a dead note in between, but again, all these dead notes are up to you. They sound really cool, but again, not everyone can play them effectively at first. So if you're just learning, you can just skip on them. And then finally you do a slide from 10th fret of the D string to the 12th fret of the D string. And add a little vibrato here. And then the final phrase sounds like this. From the 10th fret of the D string with the dead notes in between, like that. 10th fret, 9th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret. So on the 7th fret you make a power chord with an octave, so like this. So it's 7th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the E string, like this. And you roll your finger from the top to the bottom. And then it's basically just open string and 5th fret. And that's the first solo. Again, the shape here is this kind of chord and this kind of chord, but the last two strings these two are pretty much, muted. So again, I mean, I prefer to keep them as in the original song. Then you play the 5th fret, the 7th fret, and then you make a slide. So this one in the song, I think he makes this kind of slide. So from the 9th fret of the G string to the 10th fret. So it's just the 5th fret, 7th fret on the G string. Again, 7th, 5th, 7th, 5th on the D string. So you can either slide to the 5th fret here, or you can do a hammer on from the 3rd fret to the 5th on the D string. You do a slide from the 3rd fret on the A string to the 5th fret on the A string, you do an octave again. So the whole phrase, it sounds like this. The next phrase starts right away after this one, and it's a little bit maybe weird at first, but Joe starts playing on the G string, like in the area of the 5th fret, but he doesn't press the string yet. So he keeps playing that and slowly pressing the string. Okay, so it kind of sounds like this. So at the end, all this short notes are basically two set of two notes on the 5th fret. Actually 3 notes, but 2 short ones and 1 long one. So the whole phrase sounds like this. Okay, the next phrase sounds like this. Okay, slowly. So you do a hammer on from the 5th fret of the G string to the 7th fret of the G string, then do 5th fret, 7, 6, 5 on the G string, 3, 5, open A, 3rd fret A, octave, 5, G, G, 5th fret on the G string. So this is the first one. The second run, it sounds like this. You do a hammer on from the 5th to the 7th fret of the G string, 5th fret, again these 7, 6, 5, 3, 5 on the A string, 3 on the A string, 5 on the D string, 5 on the A string, and then you do a hammer on 3rd fret on the D string, 4th fret on the D string. Here is the next lick. First finger on the 1st fret, and then your pinky on the 3rd fret of the D strings, so you form an octave, and so basically you play lower, higher, lower. And then you basically move across the frets. So here is the same. Here is the same thing slowly. So it's kind of like moving with your pinky, right? Playing the note with the pinky and then following up with the octave. So he plays the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, finishes on this high A note. Then he makes a little pause, and then what he's playing is... So it's the 7th fret and the 8th fret. And then what follows is basically just like a walk towards the A note, right? Where he finishes, and then he goes to D, resolves to D. Okay, so what I usually do, I just play this shape for a while, and then switch to just playing on the 4th string until you arrive to A, and then resolve to D. This is what the whole thing sounds like. And this is the second solo. Alright, the last solo, the most difficult one, the one I actually spent a lot of time practicing and still cannot play it perfectly. So here's how it goes. So the first thing he does, he makes this octave run to the high D here. Okay, so it's basically playing a low D, then high D, with 2 dead notes in between on the A string, right? And also you follow with the slide. So the actual frets, the actual notes that he's playing are the 5th fret, then the 8th fret, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, right? 16, which is actually just... Here is the next lick. Slowly. So So basically it's just a run, again, just a little run in D minor, D pentatonic, 17th fret on the G string to the 19th fret, 17th fret, 19, 18, 17 on the D string, 15, 17th fret on the A string, and then you either play this note as well or you just skip it all together. Like, I listened to the solo a couple of times slowly, this particular piece. I cannot really figure out if he's playing that note or if he's skipping on it, but it just depends on like whichever is comfortable to you. And then you finish up on this, again, wide vibrato on the 15th and 16th frets of the D string, like this, right? Okay, here's the next phrase. So it's in the same area, so we're still using D minor pentatonic. This time we're playing 15th fret of the A, 17 on the A, 15 on the D, 17 on the D, 18 on the D, right flat 5, 17 on the D, 15 on the D, 17 on the A, 15 on the A, 17 on the finish with the 17 on the A, and again do this kind of vibrato on 15 and 16 on the D. Here's the next piece. This kind of thing is really why you need a metronome to practice, because it's just impossible to just pick up your bass guitar and play right away. You have to practice this kind of lick. So what I do is I play, so it's basically a series of slides, right, from the 17th fret of the D string to the 19th fret of the D string, followed by two 17th fret of the G string, right? So you play this 4 times, right? Add this little like open string in between those licks. I think that what Joe does, you gotta nail this. Okay, so he then switches to basically playing the same slide but with the 19th fret of the G string, followed by the 17th fret, okay? Okay, so basically you play it again 4 times, switching between 17th and 19th fret, 19th fret. And then what he does, I think he stops playing this in between open or dead note, right? He just plays. Again, up to you, really. It doesn't really it's not that important. So you can either like play like he plays, or you can keep using the dead note. I think the dead note sounds kind of cool, so I'll keep using it. Here is the next lick. Okay, so this one, what he actually plays, he plays this. Okay, so he does a hammer on from the 17th fret to the 19th fret of fret on the D string, followed by the 17th fret of the G string, and then on the next run he uses 19th fret of the G string. But I cannot play this. I cannot play this, it's just too fast. So what I do, I just replace it with tapping. It's basically moving these two on the G string. So it's the 12th fret, 14th fret, followed by the 17th fret. So you play, right? As soon as you hit the 17th fret with this finger, just remove this finger so you can pull off and play basically the 12th fret, okay? So here is the pattern. Okay, and then so it's the 17th fret, 16, 15 on the G string, and then he uses this kind of shape followed by the open string. So here is the same. It's not really important to play it precisely every fret. The only thing you need to do is you need to finish on the 8th fret of the G string and then play an open G, right? So it kind of should sound like this. Okay, so it doesn't have to be precise. Again, just kind of slide your fingers around. Okay, the next phrase sounds like this. Alright, so first he starts with a series of hammer-ons. So it's the 5, 7 on the G, 5, 7 on the D. And the same kind of shape repeated here. So 3, 5 on the D and then 5 on the A. Then you repeat the same again. So we have so this is 3, 5, 6 with the slide, 5, 3 on the D string. Okay, so this is a slide from 5 to 7 on the D, 5 on the G, followed by 7 on the D, 7 on the G, 7 on the D, 5 on the G, 7 on the D. Actually, without the 7 on the D, yeah, it just stops on the 5 on the G. So 7, 6, 5, 3, 5 on the A. Then it sounds like this. So again, the same hammer on from the minor third to the major third. So you play 5, 5 on the A, 3 on the D, 4 on the D, 5 on the A, 3 on the A, and then this is where he starts improvising. What I usually play, I just play 5 on the E, 3 on the E, maybe 1 on the E, and then maybe slide to the 5th, and then the whole point of this section is just to arrive to D on time. So you have to finish on D. As long as you finish on D, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what you put in between, okay? So this is the whole phrase. And that's the solo number 3. Okay, here's a little bonus part. He plays this little lick which sounds absolutely fucking amazing, so I decided to transcribe it as well. So this is what he plays. Okay, so this is 10 on the D. You do a slide to 12, 10 on the G, 12 on the G, slide to 14. Do this kind of thing again, wide vibrato between 12 and 13. Alright, you played 14 basically and kind of slide back to 12 but start doing vibrato right away. So okay, then 10 on the G, 12, 10 on the D, 12, again 10 on the G, you do hammer on 10 to 12 on the D, 10 on the D, 12 on the A, 10 on the A, 8 on the A, 8 on the E, slide to 10 to basically to D, and then you play 12 on the D, forming an octave. Okay, whole thing sounds like this. Alright, I hope you guys liked it, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment if you like this kind of content. I will try to transcribe other Joe Dart solos if you like this. So, thank you guys for watching.